Let's have a thought about whether Donald Trump is good or bad for Bitcoin, and what this could potentially mean for next year, 2020, when there's a re-election. And we're going to think about what this might mean for the entire crypto ecosystem. Very relevant topic. You can let me know in the comments up front already what your opinion is. Trump, yay or nay? Not as a general person, not for politics, really for Bitcoin. I'm not going to go into much politics here because this is not my topic. I'm going to look into general party philosophies, Republicans, Democrats. What could this mean? And then obviously, what does this mean right now? And what does this mean going forward for next year? And then for potentially the next 4 years and so on. We've had Trump, I think 2 weeks ago, tweet about Bitcoin, how this is not good and how it should be stopped. Let's put some cards on the table here. The Congress and everyone kind of admits right now, it's very unlikely that the US can somehow even stop Bitcoin or block it. At the end, it's nothing else than code. It's open source. So wherever this code goes, this is where Bitcoin is. It's really difficult for a government today to stop this size of a decentralized movement. And that's the power of decentralization. And that's why I always push for decentralized currencies. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, so I'm not pushing only for Bitcoin, but I'm really pushing for decentralized currencies. And this doesn't mean that centralized ones are bad. I'm just saying they have completely different merits than decentralized ones. So putting cards on the table, let's forget that Trump says, hey, it might be stopped. This is ridiculous. And I think also Trump knows that this is probably not going to happen. So let's look a bit more on the general side of this. And one thing up front, I think what Trump is doing is absolutely great. It's absolutely good for him. It's probably not good for the US. It's probably not good for the entire world. But it's probably the only thing that he can do for him to have won the past election. Obviously, that's why he won. And probably also win the next election. So I'm not saying he's probably going to win. I'm saying what he's doing right now is the best that he should be doing in order to win. And what does this mean? Well, if you look at anything right now in the entire US kind of stats and figures, one thing that you cannot deny is that the US economy has been doing well, at least on paper, over the past 3 years that he has been in office. And also, generally speaking, Republicans have been shown to be a bit better for the economy than Democrats. I mean, there's just a lot of philosophy there that comes from very deep in the party. And so there's a couple of key things here. If the economy now slumps, I believe Trump is going to have a very hard time convincing people for him to get reelected. I just think, because at the end, that's what he can always show to his followers. Hey, look at the economy, look at the job creation, look at this. And you can see this in so many things. You can see this how much he pressures the Fed to drop interest rates. You can see how much he boasts about this, and may be wrong or right. Let's not discuss this, but just what he talks about. If he's missing those facts and numbers, if the real estate market goes down, if the stock market goes down, if these fundamentals of the US economy start going down, his chances of a re-election are very slim, because at the end, this is what he really holds on to. So in my opinion, his strategy has to be to keep the economy flowing, to not have some economic crisis. And that's what he attacks at the moment, what he pushes for, is really going this direction. And this is really the key thing. Ivan, pleasure for just stopping by. Smash the likes. And this is a very important topic here with Trump. So what this means, in my opinion, is in case the Democrats win next year, I could imagine, and this is not only my opinion, this is Ray Dalio spoke about this publicly, huge investor. Many other really smart hedge fund managers say, as unhappy or happy they may be with Trump, if he doesn't make it next year, we might see a massive setback in the entire economy, in the entire one. And if there's an entire setback in the economy, the major question that's going to happen is, how will Bitcoin do in such a scenario? Will Bitcoin drop down, or will Bitcoin be the anchor that keeps everything up? Now, in 2008, everything dropped. Gold as well. We didn't have Bitcoin back then, so we don't know how it's going to behave. But the odds are, if we have a massive crash, a massive setback, odds are Bitcoin is also going to crash. And with crashing, just do the math. If the stock market slumps 50%, Bitcoin is going to crash further. I promise you that. So we're going to see an 80, 90% setback in Bitcoin if the stock market crashes by 50%. Just do the math, right? If there's a real crash, I highly doubt that an asset like Bitcoin that's still very risky scene, that's very volatile, that it's going to keep its liquidity. I personally think it's going to do the opposite. I think it's going to suck a lot of liquidity out. And it could really slump down 80%. So I don't know, we could see Bitcoin sub 3,000 in such a scenario. Now, I personally think that Trump has to keep the economy really, really on a high. Now, I think this is just delaying the fundamental problems in the economy, and we're going to see a major economical setback. And I personally hope that we only see this when Bitcoin has established itself way more than right now. What we're seeing right now with all the mass media, with this discussion, Libra versus Bitcoin and so on, that we're seeing Bitcoin being established more and more and more. It's way more compared to gold now than to tulips. And this is the key thing, right? So you want to compare it, like the comparison has to be to gold, not to tulips. And this is what we're seeing now on international media. No one is questioning much, is Bitcoin like a tulip, like worthless stuff, or is it more like gold? And the direction is way more going to gold. Well, I think give it another 2 or 3 years, and this discussion is a completely new level. I think it will be completely different. So it might actually be that in the crypto ecosystem, yeah, we have Andrew Yang, who is running for Bitcoin, like is running for president as a crypto. I mean, as much as I love this, I personally just don't think he has a shot. Now, you can let me know in the comments below. I just don't think he has one. I think for the crypto ecosystem, the best shot we have right now is for a Republican to stay in power. And that doesn't mean that I would vote Republican. I'm just purely talking very, very neutral objectively here. And to me, the best shot might be Trump, as crazy as this is to say. So it might be that for the crypto ecosystem, for Trump to win next year, plus having the halving, might actually be, as crazy as this is, one of the best things that could happen to the ecosystem. Because if the Democrats win, and this is a pure speculation from my end, and let's see in a year's time, but this is really talking to a lot of economists, a lot of really smart people in the world who kind of understand what's happening there. A lot in mastermind groups is being discussed in this. If the Democrats win, there might be some setback in the economy, and this could be very painful and hurtful for Bitcoin during a time when it actually would need more of a flow and more of a run. And this might be key. So I personally think, as much as I don't want to say this, but I personally think that Trump would actually be positive for Bitcoin over those next 4 years. Simply because he's going to have to keep a positive momentum in the economy. Maybe afterwards, it's going to be worse, right? Maybe afterwards, it's like someone who has a disease and all this person does is treat symptomatically, and actually the cause is not treated. So this person afterwards is completely going to sink. And it might happen. But I think the ecosystem has more time, 3-4 years more time to kind of establish itself. And I think this is what the ecosystem would need right now. And I still think the US has massive impact on this for the entire world. I know, crazy thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. I'm gonna look into the chat right now. Don't place me as a Trump supporter, right? Absolutely, this is the wrong placement. It's a pure different angle to all of this than anything else. And if you have a different opinion on this, I completely respect that. Would be very interesting to hear that. So let me know what you think. I'm gonna have a look at the chat right now.